Hey everyone, it's Pastor Paul Krampitz coming to you today, not from my study, but from the deck here at the parsonage next door to the church here in Cromwell, Connecticut. Not my study, but actually this deck now has become my home office. When the weather permits, I very often set up my laptop here on the table on our deck and go about the work that I need to do during these times. My wife Paula is most times inside at our dining room table, working remotely, and our three high school age kids are doing the same thing. So I appreciate being able to come outside, getting some fresh air, and frankly having a bit of peace and quiet so I can do the work that I need to do. What I wanted to reflect on with you today was the fact that when I'm out here, I hear these beautiful sounds of nature. There's a lawnmower actually in the distance, but I don't know if you can hear right now. There's all sorts of birds chirping. We have quite a menagerie in our backyard. I'm going to see if I can't show you a few of the birds that are at our bird feeder. And of course, they've taken this moment here to disappear, I think. But you'll just have to trust me that oh, there we go. There's some of the birds. It's really remarkable. We have 4 cats, and the bird feeders are situated in such a way that the cats can look out of the picture window in our living room, and they love to watch the birds. But it's not just the birds that are there. Birds of every kind. We have goldfinches and blue jays and cardinals and mourning doves and grackles, all sorts of beautiful birds. And as the birds of various sorts are feeding, we have squirrels that are on the ground picking up the seeds that the birds have dropped. We have chipmunks running around. We have rabbits in the backyard frequently. Norm, Karen, if you're listening, there's a big fat woodchuck or groundhog that's out most days that he's going to want to attack our garden when I have the chance to get that planted. We've had deer here. We've had just the other day a beautiful fox. We had a black bear several years ago behind the church. My point is that there's quite a gathering here in our neighborhood of wildlife. And all the animals are very different, but they all somehow fit into this ecosystem and are able to survive and live. And as I look at all of this wildlife and the beautiful trees and flowers that are in bloom, I'm so thankful for God's gift of this beautiful creation, this earth that has been entrusted to our care. And just as those animals are cohabitating, coexisting together, so too we as God's people are called to coexist with all of creation, to use the earth in ways that are sustainable and responsible, to be good stewards or managers of what God has given us, to not exploit natural resources, but to be mindful of how we use them, and to use them in a way that there will be more for the generations that come ahead. You can hear this wind perhaps blowing behind me now, and just reminds me outside of here of how the Spirit of God, moved over the waters at the very beginning of creation. And I believe that God's Spirit still blows over us, still is present with us. And we see signs of God's presence and God's goodness and all these things in nature. So I love being outside. I hope that you're spending some time to get outside and get some fresh air when you can too. It's good for your body. It's good for your soul. Until next time, which will probably be indoors, this is Pastor Paul saying goodbye and God bless.